Picture this. You're a superhero who's been captured by your worst nemesis. He's tied you to a chair, stuffed a gag in your mouth, and is pacing in front of you, outlining his evil plan to destroy the world. He walks you through his plan, step by step, each part more dastardly than the last. You're thinking, how will I ever get out of here and solve the problem? And then it hits you. You won't. Then the world blows up and everyone and everything you know and love ceases to exist. The moral of the story is this: if you don't offer a solution to the problem, then it won't get solved. Now, while this is definitely true for fictional superheroes, it's even more true for real-life superheroes, also known as original orators. This is where I come in. After coaching speech for over 8 years, and winning a national final round in oratory myself, I have developed a system to craft the perfect solution section every single time. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 2 biggest mistakes I see students make when trying to craft an oratory solution section. Then we'll go over my method for crafting a winning solution section. And finally, I'll reveal 2 secret hacks you can implement to take your solution section from pretty good to national championship worthy. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's start by taking a look at the 2 biggest mistakes I see orators make in their solution section. The first mistake is that students don't have an action-oriented solution. Too often, I see students enter their solution section and then say, hey, you know that thing I've been saying not to do this whole time? Yeah, well, don't do it. Thank you. What was my time? I'm going to be blunt. That is a terrible solution section. It simply does not offer your audience any actionable advice to take with them to solve the problem. Imagine going to your doctor with a migraine and her telling you, hey, you know that headache you've been having? Yeah, well, stop having it. Thank you. Do you have Blue Shield? You need to give the audience something they can actually do to solve the problem. Like, take Advil. The second mistake is that students completely skip over the emotional aspect of their solutions. Think about where the solution section comes in during your speech. You likely just told a profoundly emotional story to end your second point. I so often see students finish a tragic story from their life and then proceed to say, and here's 3 steps to solve the problem. Step 1, smile more. Step 2, stop looking at your cell phone. And step 3, be nice. Now, those might be fine solutions, but they won't inspire anyone to change. It's not enough to help your audience logically overcome the problem. You must help them emotionally overcome it as well. So now that we know what to avoid when writing our solution section, what should we do instead? I recommend using the framework transformation substructure for your solutions. You start by giving your audience a step-by-step, action-oriented framework to solve the problem, and then delivering a transformative story of somebody who took your step-by-step framework and implemented it to improve their lives. Now, let's break down why this method works so well. First, this framework gives the audience something they can actually do to overcome the problem. This lays to rest any concerns over whether you've actually offered a solution. Now, one pro tip for the framework is to make sure each step builds upon the last one. Rather than offering 3 disconnected and seemingly random things the audience can do to solve the problem, you're offering a comprehensive strategy that creates synergies. That's why it's called a framework. You're giving the audience an actual frame that they can work inside of to solve the problem. But what picture goes inside the frame? This is where your transformative story comes in. By completing this story, you're not only painting a picture of what implementing your framework could look like, but you're completing the emotional arc of your speech. Rather than ending your speech as a narrative with the villain winning, you're offering the audience that final battle where the superhero overcomes the problem and saves the day. By now you should be able to craft a strong solution section for your speech. But let's kick things up a notch. Here are 2 secret hacks you can implement to take your solution section from pretty good to outstanding. The first secret hack is to start with a reframing of your topic. Before getting into any actual steps to solve the problem, explain to your audience that they've been viewing the problem in the wrong way, and that by viewing it in a new light, it'll be much more feasible to overcome. For example, if your topic is, "We think stress is always bad, but in reality it can be good," you can start off your solution section with a line like, "The reason we've been avoiding stress is because we misunderstand what stress actually is. Stress is not some negative physical or emotional strain that we must overcome, but a tool we can use to identify and overcome obstacles." Here's a challenge for you. Take your topic and ask yourself, how have we been defining this problem, and how can we redefine it in a new way? This gives your audience a mental refresh on the topic and leaves them open to enact change. The second secret hack is to set up a metaphor with your framework and carry that metaphor over to your transformative story. For example, with our stress speech, we can lay out the metaphor in our framework of a superhero utilizing different superpowers to overcome a villain. First, we use super speed to identify smaller, easier stressors to defeat before moving on to the big ones. Next, we can build up our super strength by progressively increasing the size of the stressors. And finally, we can multiply ourselves and build an army by asking for help to overcome the biggest stressors. Then, my transformative story might be about a real-life superhero, like a firefighter, who utilized this framework to overcome a problem. Now, double Chuck E. Cheese bonus points if you carry over a metaphor you set up in your attention-getting device in the introduction. If you'll notice, that's kind of what I did in this video. And there you have it, the complete guide to crafting a solution section for your original oratory. By now you should have the tools to get started on your solution section, but if you want an even more in-depth guide, I have an entire ebook on my website dedicated to the solution section at justincooperspeech.com. The link is in the description. Additionally, if you'd like more personalized one-on-one attention for your speech, I do offer coaching and speech reviews also on my website. And last, as always, remember to speak up.